All right, so good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining our Lunch and Learn session. So let me send you this link so you can follow along. Okay. So for today, we're going to be going through some exercises in SQL. And with the exercises, I'll talk about some of the concepts that you need to know, especially if you're applying for a job related to SQL. Okay. And for today, our data set will be a movie data set. So you can download the data here. It will be a .SQL file. Okay. And we're also going to be using DB Fiddle just to avoid the trouble of installation errors and those kind of things. But like I mentioned in the previous sessions, I do recommend if you are going to do more practice on your own to install MySQL Server onto your own computer and also to get an IDE such as a MySQL Workbench or even DataGrip so that you can use like real life tools that you're going to use in the industry instead of just an online tool that's provided for you for some kind of testing purposes. Okay. So after you download the data, make sure you open it up. And all you have to do is just copy everything and paste it into the schema.sql. Okay. So again, after you click on the download, you will be a .sql file onto your computer. You can open it with a text editor if you wish. Copy everything and paste it in. Okay. And you can click on the run button here so that the databases is created, or you can use Control Enter on Windows or Command Enter on Mac to run the queries. For this website, we do need to keep the schema on the left-hand side. Okay. For the Workbench and for other editors, you don't need to keep the schema on the screen at all times. Right after you create it, it will be on your server. Okay, so that's the main difference between this tool and the editor itself. Okay. So with that out of the way, let's start some queries. Okay, so we'll start with some easy queries, and then we'll get into some medium level queries. These are the kind of tasks you can expect during an interview. Okay, so it could be something simple. Let's say for this one, find the release year and length of movie Titanic. Okay, so first thing we want to do, especially since it's a new data set for us, we want to understand the structure of the data set. In other words, we want to know what are tables, and then with the table, what are the fields or columns in the table. Okay? So when you have a new database, the first thing you want to do is just do a show, and then just say show tables, and this will return to you a list of all the tables in the database itself. Okay? So on this website, the default database is called test. Okay? On your own server, you can create your databases and name it something else. So here we have the actor, director, genre, movie cast, movie directions, movie genres, rating, reviewers. So many tables here. Okay. And with these three, so again, this will take some time to investigate, but since we don't have that much time today, but these three are the linking tables. So the cast will link the movie to the actor table. The direction will link the movie to the director table. The genres will link the movie to the genre table. And the rating is also a linking table. The rating will link the movie to the reviewer table, but it has additional columns. Right? So these three tables only has two columns each. So movie cast, right? So you have, oh, actually three in this one, but it's mainly two, right? The actor ID from the actor table and the movie ID from the movie table. So it's a linking table that links the two big tables together. Okay. We'll get to use them in some of the future questions. Okay. But our first question here is just to look for the information about movie. So let's use the describe function and look at the movie table. Okay. So in the movie table, we have the movie ID, the movie title, which is what we're going to use for Titanic. Okay. We want the release year. So there's a year and there's actually a release date. So we can use either one in this case. So I'm going to use both of them because they might be slightly different, right? The year and the release date sometimes is slightly different depending on the country that it was released in. Okay. And we also want to look at the length, which will be the movie time. Okay. Now, the second difference on this website compared to your own kind of editor is that we need to write this one query here. Otherwise, all the result will be displayed and it will take too long to scroll up and down. Okay. In your own editor, you can actually highlight the query and then run it. So it only runs that query. On this website, it runs all the queries on this side, right? So that's why I'm always deleting the query and writing a new one, just so we don't have to scroll through all the results. Okay. But you could use separate queries here. You just have to remember that you have to go from one result to the next in this scroll. Okay. And speaking of multiple queries, we always end the query with a semicolon, just like we end the sentence with a period, right? This will tell the editor when one query finishes, the next query starts. Okay, so a basic concept, but it's something that we tend to forget, especially if we're very used to it, right? Always add a semicolon. In some of your editors, without the semicolon, it will give you an error because we'll try to run all the queries together until we see the semicolon. Okay. Again, going back to this question, since we've been here for so long, find the release year and length of the movie. Okay. So we can do a select. We want to check the movie title. So move title, make sure this is Titanic. We want the year. Okay. And like I said, the release date in the year in the release date might be slightly different. So I just want to show you. So move date release and also the length, the movie time, okay, from the movie, okay, where movie title equal to Titanic. So you can see here the year of the movie is 1987, but the date that it released, it was 1998, right? So it's slightly different due to the different locations, right? And we know this with the current movies as well, right? If a movie is created in, let's say, US, it might be released in, let's say, Australia a few months later, right? So that's something that we need to keep in mind, okay? Now, the other thing I want to mention here is that the SQL language is not really case sensitive. The only exception might be the table name, right? So some languages, the casing in the table name does matter. Some languages, it doesn't with SQL. So that's something you want to keep in mind, right? So best practice for the name of the table, follow the capitalization of the actual data, right? But for the searches, it could be uppercase or lowercase because it all seen as the same. Now, moving on to the next question to just do a quick warm up, right? What are movies in the year 1997? So we're looking at movie year now. Okay, so we can do select, let's say select star from movie where move year equal to 1997. Okay, a very quick and simple query. Okay. The next one, searching the movie by the movie ID, right? We want 913, 924, and 928. So again, I'm going to just do a select star from movie, okay, where the movie ID, right? Before it was just one value, right? We're comparing to the name of Titanic. We're comparing to the year of 1987. So we use equal, right? But now we're looking at a list of values. So this time we're using the keyword in, and we have to surround the values with a bracket, okay? And inside each of the values, so 913, 924, and 928, right? Each of the values separated by the comma, okay? So this is looking for an exact match in this list. Okay? So it's kind of like a three equal statements together, right? Movie ID equal to 913, or movie ID equal to 924, or movie ID equal to 928. Okay? So if you have a list, it's better to use the in rather than this. Okay, so they give you the same result, but you can see one is much simpler to type than the other. Okay. The next one, how many male and female actors are in the database? So this time we're looking at the actor table. Okay. So we're going to select, I believe it's called act gender, and then count star from actor, group by act gender. Okay. Now on this website, it does arrange the result kind of in ascending order, okay, by the group by. In other editors, there might not be that type of sort. So your data, the order might be different. Okay. If you want to specify a order, you just want to add an order by. Okay. And explicitly say how you want to order the results. Right. So if you want to order by the app gender, this would be better than just letting it order yourself. Okay. Now, another note I want to make here is with the count star. Okay. Count star will count each row, okay, where the act gender is F or M, okay, and put it in. Okay. This works if our table has a primary key or has a way to make sure there are no duplicates. Okay. If our table has duplicates, count star might not be the best option. Right. So let's say for example, just scrolling up a bit. Let's say for one actor, okay, they might have a name change, or they may have like a new addition to it, right? So let's say instead of just their name, there is like a biography, okay, and their biography changes. So then the ID might be the same, but it has slightly different materials in the rows. By doing count star, you count the duplicate rows as multiple entries, right? So if there is no primary key will eliminate duplicates, right? If there's no primary key, it is best to use count distinct, okay, and then actor ID. Okay. So again, this is how familiar you are with the table, how confident you are that the data is clean. Okay. Sometimes the data is just very messy, right? So this is always better than just a count star. Okay. And last of the easy questions, right? What is the best and worst rating given? Okay. So here we're looking at the rating table. So let me just do a describe on the rating table. Right. So we have the movie ID, the review ID, which is kind of like the reviewers. Right. So these two will not tell us anything about their ratings. We have a review star and the number of ratings. Right. So review star will tell us the actual rating, whereas the number of rating will tell us how many times was rated. Right. So we're going to use this column. Okay. And since we want the best and the worst score, to simply the max and the min, right? Since it is an integer. So we can do select max of reps star Okay, and we'll call this as best, and min of rev stars as worst, okay, from ratings. Okay. Now, because we want to do it on the entire table, there is no group by, right? And also you see here, it's just two aggregation functions, so no group by needed, okay? If we do have a, oh, should be just reading. Okay. If we have a third column, right, that's not an aggregation function, then we have always group by the third column, right? And if there's multiple columns that's not part of the group aggregation functions, it needs to all be in the group by. Okay, so with aggregation functions, either is on the entire table, no group by needed, or there's another column and all those columns needs to be in the group by. Okay. All right, so those are the easy questions for just a quick warm up for everyone. Are there any questions before we move on to a few more challenging questions? All right. Okay, so due to time, we may not get through all 10 of them. I created more than our time allowed just because I want to give you enough questions to practice, right? So you will have this link, it will be available to you, and same thing with the data set, okay? So you can always try it on your own, okay? So let's just go through them numerically, okay? As many as we can, right? For any leftovers, take it as your own practice. If you do have any questions, we will be posting this recording on YouTube as well. So feel free to comment there and we can always give you answers later on. Okay. So for the first question, which movie is released? Sorry, my wording is kind of wrong, but which movie is released earliest? Okay. So we're looking at the release date. Okay. So we can do a select star. Let's do select star for now from movie. Okay. We're not doing any filtering. We want all the information. And all we have to do is in order by movie date release. Okay. And by default, it is in ascending order. So we don't need to type ASC. Okay. If you really want to explicitly say this is ascending order, you could always type in ASC. Okay. And when we run this, we see that our data is now very clean, right? We have some null values and null values always before the actual values. Okay, so this is not very good. Okay, so what we want to do is do a filter, right? Take away all these null values. And for filtering, it's always above the order by and above the group by. So we just want where the movie date release is not null. Right? So we can eliminate those ones. Right, so our earliest movie is this one called 7 Samurais. Okay. Now this output is okay, right? Because you can kind of read through the list and basically just first few, right? As soon as you see the date changes, you know that's not the earliest. So this is the earliest. Okay. But for like transparency purposes and for easiness to understand, this output might not be the best output. Right? You want to just show the earliest, right? One or two movie of the same date. So the solution to that, right? The most obvious and easiest solution is to use a limit. So we can do a limit 1. Okay. Problem with the limit is that you need to know how many you want to limit by. Right? So without the limit, we saw that there was only one movie, right? So that's why we did a limit 1 and it gave us the best result, right? But if there are 2 or 3 or 4, we need to change this number to be 2, 3, or 4, right? To show all the movies with the earliest release date. So this is too manual to be an acceptable answer. Okay? So what we really need to do is we need to add a kind of ranking. Okay. And this is where Windows function comes in. Okay. So for those of you who are not used to Windows function is similar to group by, only it doesn't collapse your rows, right? Group by will just show one row per group. Window function will keep the rows themselves and basically assign values for each group. Okay. And there is a special window function that we can use here called rank, right? That will give us a ranking based on the column we order by. Okay. So that way we can have a ranking and we can select the rank to give us the best results. Okay. So I'm going to modify this for you. I'm going to keep it here as a reference. And the way I commented them out, so you can see me just comment them out together. The shortcut keys is Control and the question mark or the slash button, or Command and slash button if you're using Windows or Mac. Okay. So I'm also going to do select star, just so I have all the information. Okay. And now for my window function, I'm using a rank. Okay. Over. So in window function, the keyword you're looking for is the over keyword, right? So every time you see there's an over keyword, that is a window function. Okay. So I want to be over. Well, in over, we can do a partition by, which is similar to group by, right? Separate the data by groups. Okay. And there's an order by. So arrange the data by a column. In this case, we're doing a rank on the entire table. So we don't need a partition by. We're not separating data by groups. Okay. But we still need an order by, right? Arrange the data according to a certain column. And with the rank function, you need that order by. Otherwise, you're not going to get the result that you want. So we're going to over order by the movie date release. Okay. I'm going to leave it like this for now, and I'll show you what you need to do. Okay. And then this is from our movie. Okay. And again, we want to do this filter to get rid of the null. So where movie date release is not null. Okay, so this one, they're asking me. So I was going to show you because with our window function, if you don't give an alias, this will be the title of your column. So some of the editor allow you to run it, but you just have a very long name for your column. By default, we want to give it an alias just so it's easier to refer to it. What did I do wrong here? Rank. Sorry, give me 1 second. Okay, let me delete that just in case that is the problem. No. Sorry, give me one moment. I'm not sure why this is. Why? No. Uh, okay, sorry. Time to troubleshoot. It worked fine when I ran it this morning. For some reason, it's giving me headaches now. Okay, so that works. So it's my rank function that's wrong. Rank over by. Yeah, that seems correct. Okay, I'm not going to waste too much time on this, but this should be the correct syntax. If anyone knows why this is wrong, just tell me in the chat. But this should be the correct syntax, so rank and then the bracket. Okay, so it's empty bracket and then over. And by the order by, this is how you're going to arrange the ranking. Right, so this will assign numbers to your rows. Right, so in this case, the earliest date will be rank 1. And then if there's duplicate dates, you'll get the same rank. If there's no duplicate, you'll go to next available rank. If there are duplicates, you will skip a rank. So there is a difference between rank and dense rank. We can talk about that later on. Okay. Does anyone tell me the solution? When using order by inside the window function, do I still need to add an order by outside? No, you don't. No. So the order by here, it will order the data according to this column. If you have partition by, most of the time you will order your result by the partition first, right? So in the alphabetical or ascending order in the partition, and within this partition, you order by the other column in the order by. So there's no need for an order by again, because you're just going to rearrange the data again, and it's not really like useful in that case. You could use it, but it's not recommended. Okay, I'm going to skip this part, but basically what I'm trying to tell you here is using a limit is not really the best solution because again, you don't really know how many rows of results you will have, right? So using a limit number, you're kind of either looking at it and then changing your result, whereas using a rank, right? After you do the rank, you would do a subquery and just filter by the rank. So unfortunately, I don't know why this is not working right now. Hold on, let me change this to 8. Make this work. Okay, so it's the version problem. There we go. So version 8.0 works. So if you just click on the drop-down list and go to 8.0, this works. So it's a version problem. There we go. Okay, let me quickly go through this. Oh, sorry. Okay. So when we do the rank, right, it gave us this ranking based on the release date. I'm not sure if there are any that are the same, but if they are the same, right? So if let's say 2 release dates are the same, you have the same rank, and the next one will skip a rank. Actually, let me show it to you based on the movie year. This might be better. Okay, so you can see here, right? These 2 movies have the same year, so you have the same rank. Okay, the one after it has a rank skipped because there's 2 14s, so there's no 15. So that's rank and then dense rank. It will not skip. So it will still give you the same ranking, but it doesn't skip. Go to the next number in available. So depending on use case, rank or dense rank, that'll be up to you. Okay. Now, after we do this rank, we want to do another filter based on the ranking. Okay. Unfortunately, with window functions, you cannot use a having. So you cannot do a having ranking equal to 1 because it doesn't work with window functions. So we need to basically do a subquery on this one. Okay. So we can do another select star. Okay. Only this time is from this entire table. Okay. So this is our table. And because we're using the query as a table, we need to give it an alias. So just give it a name. So we can say as, let's say sub. Okay. So now we're looking at select star from the sub table, which is this table, where ranking equal to 1. Okay. So now if there are more than one result, you would just show it here. You don't need to change your query. Right? So here you do need to change your query. Here you don't need to change your query. Okay. All right. So we wasted too much time here. Let's go to the next one. Which reviewers who have not reviewed any movies return their first and last name? Right. So some reviewers may not have made any reviews yet. So let's do a describe reviewer. Okay. So in reviewer, we have the review ID and the name. So there is no review. Okay. So what we really need to do is we need to look at the rating as well. Okay. So what we're going to do now is we're going to use a rating to give us a list of review IDs, right? To give us a list of people who have made a review and then filter it into our reviewer table, right? So step one, we're going to get a list of review ID from rating. Okay, so we're going to select rev ID from rating, and I can even do one better. I can do a distinct, right? In case some reviewer has made multiple reviews, I don't want to see all those rows. I just want to see the unique values. Okay. And then my step two, right? Filter the reviewer table for those not in this list. So I can do a select. I want the name, so rev name from reviewer, okay, where the rev ID is not, and then my subquery. Oh, okay, let me take away this thing here. Oh, not in, sorry. Not in. Sorry, I'm getting a bit frustrated just because of the time machine, right? So not in, not is not in. So here we get the list of all the reviews, right? Reviewers, and then filter them out to get those who had not made any reviews. Okay. So this is the second way we can use subqueries, right? So first we assign the last example using subquery as a table. Okay. In that case, we need to give it an alias. Okay. Otherwise, you'll get an error. This way, we can use a subquery as a filter condition. Okay. But the restriction here is that the subquery can only have one column. Okay. So I cannot do a select star. This will give me an error. Okay. So if I'm using a subquery as a condition, it can only have one column in the results. Okay. All right. Moving on to the next question. Return the movie title, year, director name, and actor name where the reviewer is unknown. Okay. So let's look at the reviewer table. So select star from reviewer. Okay. So we see some of the review ID is empty. Okay. So we want to look at if these reviewers have made any reviews and basically which movie they're from. Okay. And then we can add on the director and the actor. So this is a big query this time. Okay. So we're going to do it one step at a time. Okay. So we can do a first step of getting the rev ID of unknown reviewer. So select rev ID from reviewer where rev name is blank. Right, so we have these two. Okay. Next, we can get the reviews or the ratings, let's say, that were made by these reviewers. Okay. So again, using it as a filter class, so we can do a select. Let's do start from now from ratings, okay, where rev ID in this list. Okay, so we have two ratings and we have the movie ID. Okay. Now we want to look at the movie information. So there's two things you can do here, right? You can take this table, this subquery, and join it to the movie table. So we can do a select, move title, okay, from movie, join the subquery, okay, using move ID. Okay, so we can join these two together to give us our information. Okay, or we can use a filter. So we can say where move ID in. So we don't need all this. Okay, and we need to change this into move ID only. Right? You'll give it the same result, but in the backend, right, when we're thinking about optimizing our query, filtering is much better than joining. Okay, because when you're doing joining, you're creating a Cartesian product, which is basically taking each row in one table and matching it to each row in the other table. Okay, so just a quick idea here, right? So you have table one that has row A, B, and C, and table two that has rows D and E. Okay, if we do join, so table one join table two. Okay, before we do any conditions, it's creating a table that has A, D, B, E, C, D, right? Each row in the first table for the first row of the second table, and then A, E, B, E, C, E, arrow in the first table with the second row of the second, right? So it's creating this, and then with our join condition, so using or where condition is doing a filter on this table, right? So this has a lot of memory uses, and it's just kind of useless if you can filter it, right? So if you want to do joins, you have to keep this in mind, right? But your goal is if you can avoid joins, it might be better, right? So filtering will be better than doing a join in this case. Okay. Okay. So now that we have the movie, we also want the year, which is in the movie, so that's fine. Right? So we can do move year. That's fine. We have the year. Okay. But now we also need the director name and the actor name. Okay. So in our actor table, we have the first and last name. In the director table, we also have the first and last name. But we need to join these two tables to our movie table. Okay. So we're going to do join. Now, like I mentioned, the director and the actor table are joined to the movie table through two other tables. So move movie cast using move ID and join actor using act ID. Right, so that's the first join. And the second one is using movie direction using move ID and join our director using director ID. So with this, you need to get familiar with the schema of your table. Okay. So it's not something that you can know off the top of your head, right? This is how you join, because different databases are created with different structures. Okay. But again, instead of giving you the time to investigate it yourself, due to our time, I'll give you this to you. Okay. And now we can get the information. So we can get director first name, director last name, actor first name, and actor last name. Okay. So there's a lot of joins, and there's a filter based on two nested queries. Now focusing on this result for now, right? We have the first name and last name column, but let's say we want to combine these two together into one column. Okay, there's a string function called concat that can join them together. Okay, so I'll show you with the director name, but it's the same principle with the actor name, right? So concat. So one column with the next column. Okay. Now, if you just do it this way, it's just going to combine these two strings together. So it doesn't look that nice yet, right? It's combining them together. So we need to add another string ourselves of a space so that our name has a space between the first and last name. Okay. And like I mentioned before, right, the column name is exactly how it appears in the select statement, which again doesn't look nice if you want to present this as a report. So you want to give an alias. So as, let's say, director or director name, right? So this way it looks nicer than having them separate. Okay. Now, in terms of your SQL interviews, this would be called an additional step, right? So you don't want to waste your time doing this if you are not done solving all the questions yet. Okay, so if you're done with all the questions and you have time to review your answers, definitely do this to make your result look better, right? But if you are stuck on time and you may not even finish all those questions, don't worry about this, right? Just get it in the different columns. And then in your follow-up interview, you can explain, I can combine them together using concat and add a space in between to make it look prettier, okay? All right, so moving on to the next question. And I think I'll pause it here to give you some time for question answers. Okay. So we want to return the years where at least one movie in that year has received at least 3 stars. Okay. So again, we're using a type of join or filtering. So again, I can use filter just because it is faster. Okay. So my first thing I'm going to do is just do a preview. I select star from rating where ref star is greater or equal to 3. Ref stars, there's an S. So we filter all the lower stars. Okay. And now I need to get the year of the movie, right? So that's from the movie table. So I can do select move year from movie. And again, I can do a join, right, to this table itself or to the rating table itself and then do the filter. Or I can just use this as my filter. So I can do where move ID is in my subquery here. Okay, but because the subquery is a condition, I can only have one column. Okay, and since I don't want to see duplicates, so I think I did see one here, right? So I don't want to see duplicates. I can always add a select distinct. Okay, and if I want to make this look prettier, I can do it order by movie year. Okay, so I know that this is ordered and not, all jumbled up in different orders. Okay. So any questions at this time? Again, we'll pause it here. You do have the link to the remaining 6 questions that you can try on your own. Okay. We will be posting the recording onto YouTube later on. So if you do have any questions, feel free to leave a comment on the video and we'll try to reply to it as soon as we see them. Okay. But in the meantime, any questions about SQL or how to solve questions in SQL? . Oh, sorry, I do this. Yeah, thank you. Okay, so that was a very early comment from before. Sorry, I'm sharing my screen, so that's why I don't see the chat very often. Oh, walk through your sub. Okay, sure. Let me do one more question then to demonstrate this answer. So walk me through your sub process when solving a problem. Okay, so let me just do one more. Um, let's do this one probably. Right. So I want to copy over just so I don't have to go back and forth. Okay. So I'm going to create an output that has the movie title, the review stars, and reviewer name, where the result is sorted, where the best rating is on top. So basically I want, a comprehensive output, right? There's no filtering involved, but I want to sort it so that the best review is on top. Okay. So my thought process, first thing I want to do is look at the columns I need. Okay. So from the start, I need the movie title, the review stars, and the reviewer name, right? And to me, that means I need it from the movie table. I need it from the review star or the ratings table and the reviewer table, right? So I need to do select movie name or move title, okay? Rev stars and rev name, okay? From movie, joining my rating table using my movie ID, joining my reviewer table using my rev ID. Okay. So that's the first thing I want to do. Look at the column, see which table I need, and see how I can put them together. Okay. Since I need one column from each table, I need to do a join. Right? If I just need columns from a few of these tables, maybe I can do a filter. Right? That will depend on the question. Okay. Then I see the rest, right? So where the result is sorted, where the best rating is on top. Right? So if I have it like this, I have all my movies, all my stars, and all my reviewers, right? But this is not really sorted. As you can see, some reviews are low, some reviews are high, right? So then my next question is, okay, how do I talk about the best rating? Well, that's the rev star. So I can do a order by, right? Rev stars. And when I do it just this way, this is in ascending order. So the worst is on top and the best on the bottom, right? So instead, I can add a descending, right, to get the best on top and the worst on the bottom. Okay, so that's a simple question to go through. Going back to some of the ones before. So let's say for this one, right? Where I'm joining a lot of tables, right? So I first look, okay, I need the movie title, year from the movie table, director name from the director table, actor name from the actor table, right? Same process. But then I need to see the reviewer as well, right? Where the reviewer is unknown. So I had to ask myself, do I need to join the reviewer table? Because I don't need any column from the reviewer table. So maybe I can just do a filter, right? And with that case, I can either start from here. So start from getting the reviewer ID and then filtering the other tables. Or I can start from here, create a big table first, and then create a review, right? So create the filter and then join them together. Okay. Sure. Let me see if there's another one. Or let me just use the ones that we did already because I don't want to go through them and then figure out it's not. So let me just go through this one again, right? So uh, movie title, year, and director, right? Where the reviewer names are known, right? So again, simplest way, go through these columns, see where they're from, right? So I want to select move title, select the move year, select the director's names, and select the actor name. Okay. Now, again, I can write out this name of the columns so fast because I know the structure of the tables, right? For you, do a describe. Let me comment these out. Right? For you to do a describe, right? And see what the columns are, right? Until you're familiar with the table, you don't need to do describe. Okay. So first get all the columns are needed. Okay. And again, now I need to again know how the tables are connected. So I know that these two are from the movie table. So I can do from movie. Okay. I know that these two are from the director table. So let me do this one step at a time. So I want to join director. Okay, I'm going to leave this blank. I don't know how to join it yet. And I want to join my actor table. Again, I don't know how to join this yet. Right? So then I need to look at the tables. So again, this is describe. So describe director. And I'm going to do describe movie. Okay? And see if there's any columns that are related, right? And I see that there are none. So this tells me there's another table, right? So there's no columns that are common between these two, but I know there's a way to join them. So there has to be another table, right? So if I look at show tables, right, I see there is a movie direction, right? That is the one that makes sense. So I can do another describe movie direction. Okay, and I see, okay, director ID from the director table, movie ID from the movie table, right? So that's how I would join. So join, just a second here. So I can join the movie direction using movie ID and join my director table using the director ID. Similarly for the actor, right? So join my move cast, the movie cast using movie ID and joining my actor using my act ID. Okay. So this is my big table that I want. Okay. But I still need to do this filter. Okay. So this is where the nested query comes in. Right. So for the filter, I want to get the reviewer to be unknown. Okay. So I'm going to first just look at reviewer. Okay. And I see by unknown, it means that there's an empty string. Right. So I can just do that. So I can say where rep name is an empty string. Okay. Now I need to apply this to this table. But again, the rep ID is not any of these columns, right? So I know there's another table, which is rating table. So I need to do a, let's see, select star from rating, right? Then I have to ask, okay, do I join it here or do I do a filter? Right? If I join, there's no subqueries. So I can do a simple join reviewer using rep ID, okay, where the rep name is blank, okay, and then taking this subquery as another table to join it together here. That's one way. But again, like I said, using a filter will be much faster than join, right? So in that case, I'll rewrite this to be a filter clause like I did before. Okay? For more nested queries, what you want to think about is start with what you have and then think about how do I change it into what I need, right? So if I have, let's say, the reviewer table, right? But I want to see how many movies they reviewed, for example, right? So I might have to do a join or a kind of filter to see they have ratings, they have reviews, those kind of things, right? Similarly to the questions that we done before, I think was like this one, right? How many movies has at least 3 stars, right? So you might want to think about, okay, what do I have? How do I uh, get one part of the question solved, and then expand that to the next part, expand it to the next part until I get the final result, right? So you don't want to go like one step because that might be too difficult to do. Start with something simple, right? At least 3 stars, I know how to do that, right? From here, okay, how do I get movies? How do I get years? Right? How do I do a count? How do I do a filter? Those kind of things. Okay? Any other questions? Okay, so due to our time, we'll wrap it up here. But again, if you do have any questions, our video will be posted onto YouTube. So you can always ask us questions through the comment section. Okay, and we'll try to address them either through comments or through another Lunch and Learn session later on. Okay. Other than that, I just want to thank everyone for taking your time out to join me today. And hopefully I'll see you in a future session later on. Okay. Have a good day, everyone.